CWhyte. Talk my shit one time. Fuck it, White.
What is up, good people? I am CWhyte, and this is The Hell Going On, where I give you my raw, uncut opinion on all kinds of shit. So just roll with me. Now, we all know what's going on this week. Overreaction Tuesday. Cows lose, cows stink, cow season is over. Cowboys lose in spectacular fashion to the Green Bay Packers. Get completely blew off the field. 48-32, really 48-16. Furs, number 2 seed, to lose to a number 7 since they expanded the playoff format. Allowed the most points of any Cowboys team in playoff history, and the only team to lose at home during these playoffs, during this first round. Just a sad-ass state of affairs. So let's start the blame game. Who do we blame? Well, there's 3 culprits in this shit. Starting with number 3, Dan Quinn and the defense. Hell, halfway through the game, I felt like Tupac. Fuck the defense as a staff, record label, and motherfucking crew. Deron Bland started the bullshit. 2 plays into the game. They actually had a decent first play, got what looked to be a sack. Here comes Deron Bland with his bullshit. First down, penalty. That opened the floodgates. Next thing I know, Green Bay is in the damn red zone. Hell, Aaron Jones, he out there running over their ass looking like the Macho Man Randy Savage. What, he have 3 touchdowns? Shit. I mean, it seemed like 2 plays, they in the red zone. Then I'm thinking maybe Dallas go hold them to 3. Then here come D-Law jumping off sides on 3rd and 5. What kind of shit is that? He's supposed to be the leader of the team and you fucking up? So, yeah, the defense let you down. Michael Parsons. What, he had 1 pressure, think he got a holding call. After that, nothing else from him. Completely silent. You know, to me, if you're going to be a defensive player of the year candidate, you got to wreak havoc in some games every now and then. And I'm not talking about when you're playing the Giants and Commanders. I'm talking about some of these big spots. Like I've seen Joey Bosa do. Like we saw Aaron Donald do in the Super Bowl. That's what I'm looking for. We got to elevate past just dominating inferior competition. So overall, Dallas Cowboys defense couldn't stop running water this past Sunday. And because of it, they got their ass kicked pretty thoroughly. So what's the solution? Well, this one is pretty simple. You let Dan Quinn go on and go. Let him go to Carolina or back to Seattle, wherever the fuck he wants to go. You add some linebackers, and you go have to add something to this defensive line. Now, I'm not an expert. Maybe it was better than what I thought, and maybe it's too early to call it. But our first round pick, Mozzie Smith, I ain't heard his name all year. It feels like a fucking swing and a miss, but I won't go there yet. We'll see what happens next year. But nothing from Mozzie Smith. Number 2 reason Dallas lost this game, Rain Dakota Prescott. Look, coming into this game, we knew Green Bay had a hot offense that had been pretty good over the last few weeks. Everybody would tell you, look, Dallas is going to have to score early and often. Go on and try to get up on this team and put doubt in them early. What did Dak do? Dak had 0 yards in the first quarter. Dak threw 2 picks, should have been 3. One of them was a pick 6 and the other one could have been. In the biggest spot of the year. Potential MVP candidate at one point. At least that's what people told us. 0 yards in the first quarter and throwing pick 6s. And this is what it is. Dak is 18-24 against opponents with a winning record. Dak has been in the league for 8 seasons now. This next year will be his 9th season. The verdict is in. This is what it is. Dak is a average to above average quarterback who can sometimes rise above that. And he struggles to win big games. this is what it is. And so in the NFL, if you win a championship, you're going to have to win 3 or 4 big games against really good competition. And the results say that your quarterback cannot do that. And so where does that leave you? And we're talking about a potential extension? Are y'all fucking crazy? An extension. And the rationale is, oh, well, you have an okay quarterback and it could be worse. It could be worse? That's it. That's your rationale. So I went and looked at some stuff. And from my vantage point, there's been a lot of quarterbacks that have come into the league that are having success. And my biggest issue with Dak, we damn near 10 years in, and we ain't progressed. I've seen quarterback after quarterback come in after Dak and become better than Dak. And when I hear this rationale of, well, who you gonna get? There's nobody else available. Well, hell, eventually there will be. And I get it. There's a chance you can do worse. But again, we've seen the best this can do. So just to remind people, Dak Prescott was drafted in 2016. And so I pulled together a list here of quarterbacks, all drafted after Dak Prescott, that are better than him. Now, some of these maybe we can debate. But this first little group I got, to me, these are non-debatable. Patrick Mahomes, drafted in 2017, better than Dak Prescott. Lamar Jackson, drafted in 2018, better than Dak Prescott. Joe Burrow, drafted in 2020, better than Dak Prescott. Josh Allen, drafted in 2018, better than Dak Prescott. C.J. Stroud, drafted in 2023, better than Dak Prescott. Justin Herbert, drafted in 2020, better than Dak Prescott. I don't think you can really argue any of those. I'm sure somebody out there really loves Dak and probably would try. In my mind, there's no debate. I would take any of them quarterbacks over Dak right now today. I think if you had any of those quarterbacks against Green Bay, you have a better game. You probably still get your ass beat because your defense can't stop shit, but at least you would have scored more points. Now, these are some of the ones that are debatable. To me, and you can call it emotion right now, I would definitely take pretty much all these quarterbacks over Dak. Jalen Hurts, drafted in 2020. I would take Jalen Hurts over Dak. Jordan Love, drafted in 2020. I would take Jordan Love over Dak. We just watched him outplay Dak, and it wasn't even close. It was head and shoulders above Dak, and this is his first playoff game. And Dak going on year 9. Anthony Richardson with the Colts got hurt this year. Drafted in 2023. I would take him over Dak tomorrow. Justin Fields, drafted in 2021. I would take Fields over Dak. Hell, Brock Purdy, drafted in 2022. I would take Purdy over Dak. And hell, I don't know how you want to classify this one. Jared Goff, drafted with Dak. Of course, he was a number 1 seed. The number 1 pick. But I would take Jared Goff over Dak. Not a lot of people high on Jared Goff. I would take Goff over Dak. So that's where we at. That's where you at. So what's the solution? So to me, my preferred solution is you trade Dak. Hopefully some other people think Dak are really good and will give you something for him. Because I don't. I think he's a good regular season quarterback. And if your goal is to win regular season and talk about division titles, sign Dak. But I thought this was the Dallas Cowboys, and I thought we were talking about championships. And there's been a lot of talk about the Cowboys and pressure, and we can't put pressure on people. Well, playing for the Dallas Cowboys is pressure. If you don't want pressure, go to Arizona. Go to Jacksonville, where you can play at noon on Sunday. You can play Thursday night football games that don't nobody watch. You don't have to worry about nobody watching you unless you make the Super Bowl. So to me, Dak is a great guy. Go sell sleep number beds. Go do all that shit. Just get the fuck out of Dallas. And so to me, you trade Dak and you try to reset the quarterback position while you still have some good pieces all around it. Now, if you're not going to do that, which they probably won't, at a bare minimum, you have to approach this year in this draft as if you don't have a quarterback. You have to approach the draft as if you do not have a quarterback and pray to God that somebody you draft does to Dak what Dak did to Tony Romo. Number one reason the Dallas Cowboys lost this game. Mike Big Back McCarthy. Simple. The whole team was lackluster, not ready to go. According to his own damn words, we just wasn't ready to play. As a number 2 seed at home with a chance to potentially get a Super Bowl, you not ready to play? How does that happen? And my thing with McCarthy, if we just take this year, every big game, they were completely unprepared. Not just a little. Week 5, San Francisco, supposed to be a matchup of equals. And you come out there and get blue 42-10? You have a inexplicable loss against Arizona? You can't focus your team on the road to win games? You go to Buffalo and get embarrassed? Every big game Dallas has had under McCarthy, they show up flat. Hell, the San Francisco playoff game from last year, that's just, like, that is squarely on the coach. The coach, at a minimum, has to have the team ready to play. Coaches have to be able to get players and get people to play at their best. Bring the best out of people. And when they're constantly, consistently lackluster under you, you have to go. The fact that he's still around today is a problem for me. He got to go. If you are serious about winning, Mike McCarthy has got to go. All that number 1 stats and number 1 offense, that is some bullshit. Number 1, when you get to play the Commanders twice a year and the Giants and all that shit, the division really ain't been all that good. So I feel like The Rock. You take that number 1, you turn it sideways, and you shove it up your candy ass. I don't want to hear about number 1 offense. That is some bullshit. You scored 16 points in the wild card of the playoffs when you were at home. Where you done won all these games. You won all these games at home, and you scored 16 points in the play. I don't want to hear shit about some number 1 offense. Coach Big Back McCarthy has to get the fuck out of Dallas. And my thing about McCarthy, at the end of the day, when I look at it, Mike McCarthy is nothing but Wade Phillips that lucked into 2 Hall of Famers. Hell of a coordinator. Mike McCarthy is an offensive coordinator pretending to be a head coach. The only reason that he's getting to pretend to be a head coach is because he inherited Brett Favre and went right into Aaron Rodgers after that. And even with as good as Aaron Rodgers was, as good as that run was he had in Green Bay, they got 1 Super Bowl. You could argue that a really good coach with a really good quarterback for that long in the NFC North that wasn't great would have probably got a little bit more out of that. That should have been a sign right there. But we failed for the conference championships and the 1 Super Bowl that Aaron Rodgers got him. McCarthy is an offensive coordinator. He's just like Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips was a great defensive coordinator. Sucked as a head coach. He just don't have that thing that makes you a good leader and gets people to inspired to play. Mike McCarthy is the same way. He just got lucky and got 2 good quarterbacks. If Wade would have got Hall of Fame quarterbacks during a couple of his runs, he would have had a chance to. But I'm convinced McCarthy is a great offensive coordinator. He is not a head coach, at least not here. Now, if you have a team with Ray Lewis on it or something like that, maybe. We don't have that in Dallas, and it's hard to do that in Dallas. So, to recap, how do you fix this Dallas situation? McCarthy got to go. Let's not even talk about who and usually I'm the person who say, let's figure out what you go do first, but fuck all of that. All I know is McCarthy is not the answer. He has to go. Dak has proven to you who he is. Good guy. Go sell sleep number beds in Arizona or Jacksonville or Tennessee. He's not built for Dallas. Can't win the big games, and you have to win at least 3 or 4 big games if you're going to go to the Super Bowl and be a Super Bowl champion. It's what's required. He's shown he can't do it. You got to get rid of him. And Dan Quinn, which that problem is probably going to solve itself, you let him move on. But that's what you're going to have to do. That is how you fix the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion. Now, the question that I have, at least, because, we saw it with the Romo era. We see it with this era. Why is it that the Cowboys always fail? Not only do they fail in spectacular fashion. And why is that? Why is it that we just don't ever seem to be able to get over the hump? And so the first reason is that we just don't have an edge. There's an edge that lacks in Dallas. And I believe the reason that edge is lacking is because of the greatness of the franchise. And by greatness, I mean all the past glory. Because the Cowboys are treated unlike any other franchise. They get talked about unlike any other franchise. When you're losing, you get talked about. When you're mediocre, you get talked about. When you're good, you definitely get talked about and you have expectations. And players who play for Dallas, from day one, it's almost like their hunger is cured. They not hungry no more soon as you get here. Because you start getting shit that other teams, they would have to go win Super Bowls to get. Like, think about it. Michael Parsons, as good as he is, what has he done? He got a podcast. He all on Bleacher Report and Complex, whatever the fuck he on. If he was doing that for Cincinnati, would he be on a podcast? Hell, Travis Kelce got a podcast. He got rings. Him and Jason Kelce. Soon as you get to Dallas, you're a celebrity. If you good at all at your position and you play for Dallas, you damn near a celebrity. You don't got to fight for nothing. You don't got to actually win. You just you play for Dallas, so you become a star. Hell, Tom Brady, one of the arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, he retired and finna go commentate on TV. Signed a very lucrative deal. Tony Romo, who ain't even sniffed an NFC championship game, leaves, retires, goes and gets the same situation. Marcus Spears, love Marcus Spears, love Swagoo, like what he do on ESPN. But Marcus Spears was a solid, okay defensive lineman. Not trying to knock Marcus Spears, but he was never talked about as like one of the best defensive linemen in the league, anything like that. And he is one of the premier faces of ESPN. The top sports show in the world probably, but definitely in the country. Never won anything. He was a defensive lineman for the Cowboys. And he's one of the faces of ESPN. Hell, Jason Garrett on Sunday Night Football, a backup quarterback for Dallas and a coach for a little bit that didn't win anything. Sunday Night Football. Hell, no personality having Jason Witten threw a toupee on and went to Monday Night Football, and he got a shot. Dry ass Jason Witten, all because he played for Dallas. That don't happen if you played for San Diego. That don't happen if you play for Seattle. So there is this thing that exists in Dallas. And so to overcome that, you need either a very strong player leader like a Ray Lewis or Michael Irvin, or just one of these, like Kobe Bryant was in basketball, where just one of these people is just, they go push everybody. You need that, or you need what Jimmy Johnson was. Just a coach that they just not going to let any of that noise affect anything that's going on. And it takes a special type of person. You can't just have somebody that can scheme up the X's and O's and think it's all going to work out. Not in Dallas. It's mental in Dallas. Because everybody else, for Richard Sherman to get on TV, he had to go win. For Devin McCourty to get on TV, he had to go and win. And I'm not saying it's 100%. Some of these guys didn't necessarily win and they make it. You know, they articulate and do some other stuff. But I'm saying a lot of these guys that we see talking and getting to be on TV and getting to do stuff and getting opportunities, before anybody pays attention to them, they do some winning of some kind. Either that or they are extremely elite at their position. I'm talking greatest of all time. You like a Tony Gonzalez. You know, one of the great, he didn't win anything, but one of the greatest tight ends to do it. So, yeah, if you generational, yeah. But what's his name? The line, Whitworth. If Whitworth don't win a Super Bowl, you think he on TV like that? Possibly on like an ESPN, but I don't think he's doing what he's doing right now. And I like what he do, but I'm just saying, winning gets you some of these opportunities that a lot of the Dallas Cowboy players get just from walking on the team and being okay at their job. And so, you know, I think, and I don't think it'll change, but one of the things that would need to change for Dallas to really overcome this hump, overcome this struggle, whatever the hell you want to call it, the Shannon Sharps, the Stephen A. Smiths, the what's fucking name, Nick Wrights, and all these shows, stop talking about the Cowboys. But they won't do it. But that's what would cure it. If we would treat them like we treated the Minnesota Vikings last year, who was number 2 seed, or treated them like we treated Cincinnati when they made their run, then things will start to change. If people would really start getting to the point where they're like, we don't give a fuck if you play for Dallas, things will start to change. And I don't know. Part of me say it won't change, but I don't know. If it keeps going the way it's going, it might. Because Dallas, the brand of Dallas, the greatness that once was the Dallas franchise, the brand is now epic failure. That's our brand. Our brand is being a joke. The brand of the Cowboys is a joke now. You're the butt of every joke in the NFL. Non-sports shows talk about Dallas and how much they fail and the epic failure that is Dallas. Hell, the Breakfast Club is talking about the Dallas Cowboys today. The Philadelphia Eagles were 10-1, number 1 seed in the NFL, completely collapsed and fell on their face. The Dallas Cowboys is the donkey of the day.
What the hell is going on?